In the name of God, we want to talk about Backstage of the Contes. It's part of CLI's online event. My name is AmirReza PourAkhaven. I chose this subject because when I was 15, I prepared my first contest. Then I prepared the contest for CodeForces and another. Two contests for Topcoder and many others for other jobs. I was contest coordinator at Quora.io and then at Hackers. Currently I'm involved in Hackers contests and Topcoder contests. I think I was involved in more than 100 contests, and many times I saw backstage of contests, and it could be useful if I share my experience in holding contests. Every day a lot of contests held by different judges. Some of them have a lot of audience, like CodeForces, and mostly beginners ask how contests are held. I'm here to answer these questions. Problem setting is a very rare position. For example, on CodeForces, some contests have more than 20,000 participants from the beginning. I don't think that more than 1,000 setters are there on CodeForces. So it's a rare position, and contest coordination is the second step of contest is sending proposal. After a problem set completely suggested, you can send it for to the contest coordinator. Every judge has a specific method for receiving proposals. For example, CodeForces has a panel, if you see in the right under your profile. On Hackers, we use a Google form for this purpose. A proposal must be clear, complete, but not with unnecessary stories like Petya and Vasya go to park. It makes it very easier for contest coordinator if you attach several lines of solution to your proposal. Some online judges have long queue. For example, I remember someday CodeForces had 1 year long queue for holding contests. I thought that it's somehow empty now for Division 1 contests. The third step of holding a contest is proposal checking by contest coordinator. Contest coordinator is the man who checks problems, if they are good or not, accepting and rejecting problems, and sometimes set date for contests. Contest coordinators use different measures to check if the problem is suitable or not, and they use different methods for different contests. For example, for educational contests, it is not very important if the problem is novel or not. For example, for beginner contests, it's more important that the problem is easy, not requiring hard algorithms. Contest coordinators check for if the problem is novel or not. For example, search it or part of it in Google, and sometimes it says that yes, it's available in some other charts. Almost all of the contest coordinators are experienced coders. For example, they know that which problem appeared where. Almost all of them solved more than 2,000 problems, and they can check if the problem is repetitive or not in their memory. Sometimes contest coordinator asks more information from the setter. Sometimes the contest coordinator enhances problems. Sometimes makes it harder, sometimes makes it easier to fit into the position the contest needs. Almost all of the contest coordinators are experienced problem setters themselves, so that they can swap problems. They can propose new problems if necessary. The next stage of proposing a contest is writing statements. It's funny. Most of the setters like this part because it's easy and fun. It could involve a little difficulties when problems became hard, or it has corner cases to consider. Every setter has his own method for writing statements. For example, Eric Doe uses Limac as his character in the contests. I remember in my round, my CodeForces, one of the my contest CodeForces rounds, we painted some nice paintings, and a lot of participants say that, oh, it's so nice. Some setters go straight forward and just explain the problem in mass words. For example, CS Academy. Sometimes they use CT and route instead of graph. And anyway, to summarize, the problem must be clear. Contest coordinator and testers, maybe editorialist, proofread the statement and enhance it. The next step is to writing solutions. Setters and testers, and sometimes contest coordinator, write solutions. Native solutions which solves the problem in worst time complexity is usually needed to stress them and find if the main solution works correct. Every problem has the main solution which used to get the correct output for each input, and a validator checks if the input is valid. For example, if the input should be a number, it's forbidden to use a string. The next step is to creating tests. It's very important, and it needs experience, it needs a lot of time, it needs thinking, and sometimes it's more harder to propose the problem idea. Usually test set starts with small test cases used as sample test cases, then several non-challenging test cases, and then big test cases, small test cases that are corner cases. For example, n equals to 1. We generate huge test cases using a generator. Generator is a code that produce test case. Here is an example for a generator. You can see that it produced several test cases. One of the most hardest and not funniest parts of preparing problems is debugging. Consider the case that you prepare the hard problem with a lot of difficulties, and then when you run the naive solution against the main solution, it says that yes, there's a bug. For some input, they have different outputs. In these times, testers and contest coordinator maybe help the setter to find the bug, and using stress test cases with small constraints. For example, when n is equal to 10, find the counter test and debug the main solution. I remember that in my CodeForces round, in problem RPA's abnormal DNA and Mehrdad's deep interest, Nikolai Kalinin, the contest coordinator, 2 times found a bug in my solution using a stress test case, and we solved the problem. The next stage that is necessary in several jars, but not in some others, is writing editorial. Editorial is very useful thing in competitive programming world, and writing good editorials is not anyone's ability. You can check last 10 CodeForces rounds editorials, and not all of them received a lot of upvotes. So for writing good editorials, at the first you need to read a lot of good editorials. I remember that my editorial for around 383 CodeForces round was good, because a lot of audience returned and said, "Oh, what a nice editorial." Another the next stage of preparing a contest is when the contest is on the air. Everyone is worried. People ask questions that in every judge it has different. For example, in Topcoder there is a chat that they can ping admins and ask them questions in CodeForces, and there is a panel for asking questions. Here is a view of CodeForces admin panel during a contest. You can see here participant asked questions. Last questions are gibberish. For example, someone asked how to solve. There is Russian questions and English questions answered by me or Nikolai Kalinin, Russian comments. and one should take care of questions and answer them as soon as it's possible. Also, here is the editorial for that contest, that it's along with preparation details, hints, details of each problem, that who prepared the problem, who suggested the problem, and solutions, and sometimes it's attached to a link for more information. Yes, contest finished. After the contest, people ask questions and give feedbacks in editorial blog post. Setters should try to answer their questions and use their feedback for the next contest. It was a brief explanation of how a contest holds and a little guide on how to prepare a contest. It was not enough, I know, but thank you for your interest, and goodbye.